Welcome back, traders, as we continue our back testing of 2024. Now, I know you guys are really interested in the ICT lectures. Don't worry, those are still in progress. It's just that I'm really focused on this back testing project right now. I really want to make sure I get this series done as soon as possible and give you guys the results. But I am still recording lectures in the background, and I will be putting one up probably sometime this week. There is a short one. Maybe I'll do another one as well, but right now we're just going to try and get through this back testing. So last week was non-farm payroll. It was the first week of September. We're done with that. So this time we're going to be back testing September 9th through the 13th. Now I'm taking a look at the weekly chart here. You can see that we did have this run up. We left this weekly SIBI intact, and then we traded down through all this down move on the weekly chart. There was a big weekly BTC that we've traded all the way down, and we've closed below this fair value gap. So I'm looking for down targets on the downside. Of course, relative equal lows. This is a big target. I think we can start heading towards this. And then over here, we do have a pretty long wick on the lower side. So 50% of that wick, this is going to be a first target going down for this these relative equal lows. And of course, we do also have this void, this old void all the way back in December that we can aim for as well. Now let's go ahead and jump into the daily, get a little bit more detail. So I'm looking for price to come into 50% of that lower wick on the weekly, and you can see it's pretty much the rejection block on the daily. So this is what I'm going to be aiming for. Now zooming in, we poked into this daily SIBI and we're starting to head lower, so we may not retrace back up here again. Perhaps we can use this old fair value gap. So let me go ahead and mark this out. This could be used as an inversion fair value gap, the daily fair value gap. So I'm going to go ahead and just extend this through our price action. If we do get any retracement, I'll be looking for this fair value gap to hold as resistance. All right, so going in Monday, September the 9th in the morning. Now I'm looking at on the 1 hour chart, I'm looking at this 1 hour SIBI. I remember saying that we want to look for this as an inversion fair value gap. We kind of already used it once before, but we could poke up into it one more time. I'm also keeping an eye on this 1 hour SIBI because we could be using this as resistance as well. You can see we did poke into it at 6 o'clock. Of course, the sell side is going to be down here. Buy side, technically up here, but I don't really want to see price go all the way up there again. I don't want to see price go above this fair value gap, this old fair value gap that I'm using as inversion. So let's go ahead and walk through the morning action on the lower time frame. 8:30, 9:30, not exactly sure what I'm looking for. I'm actually going to take a look quickly at the 15-minute. Not seeing much, so we're just going to play by ear going into the morning action. All right, so I'm not seeing much before 9:30. This is a little bit before 9:30 right now. So the bearish or the bias is bearish. So what I want to see right now is we did poke up into that 1 hour fair value gap just by a little bit. I want to see a little bit more price action go deeper into that 1 hour fair value gap, not trade through it completely. But let's say we have the buy side here at 9:30. I want to see price sweep the buy side here, and then I guess I could be looking for the sell side down here. You can see this down move. We took this low already. This will be the next logical place to take sell side on the 15-minute chart. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much structure here, so going down here, I don't know if we are going to take out this low. We do have a little gap here as well underneath this swing low, but we may just create like relative equal lows or some kind of structure to work off of throughout this week. But right now, it's just kind of like there's no big ranges to work with. So kind of have to stick with this relatively small range. So right now, I'm just looking for price to poke above this buy side and then go for the sell side. Okay, so right at 9:30, we do take the buy side here. And now I'm just waiting for a shift to the downside. Hopefully we get a setup before we come and take out the sell side. If we take it out, I'm not sure where I would be targeting. So I may be done for the rest of the day if we take this out without giving us a setup to get in. All right, so this is a little bit before 10:30. So far looking so good. We are a little choppy in the morning, but we did take out the buy side. We took it 1, 2, 3. This could be a 3 drives pattern. We have a pretty big displacement here below this swing low and this swing low, so we do have a market structure shift. I'm gonna go ahead and try for a short here with my entry right here, and then my stop loss. I guess I could just go ahead and put my stop loss here. This is going to still be slightly above 50% of this 1 hour fair value gap. But you can see we traded to about 1 hour or 50% of that 1 hour fair value gap with the bodies. The wick did touch about 75%, and then we were slowly or quickly displacing lower. Now, if I zoom in a little bit closer, there is a small volume imbalance, so I may want to lower my entry. Taking a look at the risk so far at 57 to 98, that's going to be 40 points of risk already. If I lower it, let's say lowering it down to from 57 down to 52, so about 45 points of risk. I guess that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and try for this just because it's like a small little volume balance. So technically this is the bottom of the fair value gap. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to the spreadsheet, see how many contracts I can take on this. Okay, so looking at the spreadsheet with this entry and risk level, I'm only going to be able to do 1 contract, and that's going to be a close to 0.7% risk. If I do 2, definitely going to be over that 1% limit. So yeah, just going to have to take 1 contract, and that's perfectly fine with me. It is a Monday, small range anyway, so I'm not expecting like a big move. So perfectly fine with a little bit less than, my normal risk. Now, also one important thing, if you note the spreadsheet here, the last time I took a trade was August 29th. Today is September 10th. So that's nearly almost 2 weeks of no trading here. So sometimes that's just how it is, right? You have to be patient. You can't be trading every single day. You got to be looking for the good setups, the trades that you're most confident in. So if you're trading every single day, like I probably would take like maybe 5, maybe 6 losses or something if I trade every single day between August 29th and September 10th. So yeah, I mean, just noting that in the spreadsheet, sometimes just gotta be patient, and it's okay if you don't trade. Even in the whole week, you don't trade. So of course, last week I did mention it was the worst NFP of the year, in my opinion. So anyways, let's see if this trade works out, if we're going to get swiped in. Hopefully I don't get stopped out. If you want to be conservative, you can have your stop at this high, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave it here at the high of the order block. All right, and then once again, didn't get in. It never came back up to take me. I thought it was a very good entry. They just never took me in. So unfortunately, I missed opportunity. It's gone for the sell side now. And now I'm not exactly sure where to target if it's going to keep going lower. I suppose I could do a projection. So for example, you take this high and you project this low. It's going to give you -1 standard deviation here. I like how -1.5 lines up with this low, but being a Monday and there's nothing else really here that I want to target, I may just stay out of it. I know we do have like perhaps this fair value gap, but I kind of feel like today may be one of those days where I just let it run and not do anything about it. But I'm going to go ahead and walk through the rest of the morning. If there's an opportunity, I'll let you guys know. All right, so here's the rest of the morning. And as you can see, after taking out my sell side, there wasn't really anything else to the downside. We did retrace back, and now we're pretty much in the middle of the range of this morning range. So pretty much at equilibrium. That's kind of what I figured was going to happen. We are at the bottom of that 1 hour fair value gap. Now, tomorrow we could trade through it and go for this daily fair value gap. We use it as inversion and pushes down even lower. Looking at the 1 hour, perhaps if that happens, if we go up to this fair value gap and we start going lower, we can target this swing low as our first target. But who knows what's going to happen overnight? Let's go ahead and take a look at the next morning. But here's just a quick look before we go to the next day of the day's action. We did rally back up and took out this high, then came back down, then came back up for this high one more time. So again, 1, 2, 3 on more of an intermediate time frame that we have a 3 drives pattern. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to tomorrow morning and see what we have in store. So Tuesday morning, September 10th, and looking at an hourly, we have buy side above here. Now I'm going to go ahead and take out this 1 hour fair value gap. It may still be relevant, but I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up just to be, a little bit cleaner. And then what I want to pay attention to is this 1 day or this daily fair value gap. I want to see it used as inversion. We can go into it maybe up to 50%, but I would like price to stay in the lower half. And then looking closer, I know I drew this out as a sell side target, but we also have relative equal lows here. This will actually be the first partial, second partial, and this will be the third partial if we have enough size. Now let's go ahead and go into the 15-minute just to take a quick look. And I don't think anything really is worth noting here. So let's jump straight into the 5-minute and walk through today. All right, so a little bit after 8:30, we did take out the buy side liquidity. We haven't tapped into that daily fair value gap just yet. So I'm not eager to go ahead and jump into a short. I really want to see price poke into that daily fair value gap. So I'm going to give it some more time, maybe 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. We'll see what opportunity arises after the open. Okay, so just before 9:30, we did tap into the daily fair value gap. We went above this high, so we're tapping in a little bit more. Now we could go up to 50% of it, right? So we may not be done. I'm just going to keep waiting until I see like a large displacement to the downside. I think that's going to give me the signal to like think about getting in a short. Before then, I don't really see any reason to try to get into a trade. There's no reason for me to try to get long. So only shorts, looking for the sell side down here as the first target. All right, so after 10 o'clock, well, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, a lot of choppiness here. You can see a lot of up and down move, consolidation. At the low of that daily fair value gap, remember, I want that daily fair value gap to be inversion, to be resistance. The spike up here didn't quite get up to 50%. Perhaps that's telling me like, hey, we're kind of weak. We don't even want to get up to 50%. And now potentially, remember this candle's not done forming, but potentially we do have a fair value gap here. If I were trying to take a trade, I have my risk up here. And let's say I enter down here. And let me just clean this up. We already know the buy side is taken, so let's take that off. This is 80 points of range. So that's a little wide for me, but perhaps we get a confirmation with a confirmation fair value gap, and that will give me an entry. Now, it's perfectly fine if you're willing to risk 80, because from here down to there, that's gonna be about 2 to 1. And if we zoom out a little bit more on the 1 hour, we do have lower targets, right? Because those are relative equal lows. We could aim for this low as well. I think both of these targets are reasonable. This one, a little ambitious, but it can still happen. But my point being is, like, even though it is 80 points of risk, dollar amount, yes, that's a lot of risk. But in terms of the structure, you have a lot of reward to risk. So you could do it. It's really up to your risk tolerance. All right, so that fair value gap closed in a little bit higher than expected. So about 40, 69. So about 56 points of risk. So that's a little bit better. You could definitely go ahead and try to take a short here if you're willing to risk 56 points. But because of all this choppiness and everything, I want to actually wait for a confirmation fair value gap. I don't quite trust this right away. It's very, very choppy. We could just be taking this low for another drive higher. We do kind of have relative equal highs here as well. So definitely I want to wait, see if we can get a confirmation fair value gap. All right, so here we go. We did drive up into that daily fair value gap one more time. And now we are potentially creating a second fair value gap. So if this happens, oh my goodness. So if this happens to remain intact, I will, what am I doing here? Come on. If this remains intact, I would like to enter here, and then I'll have my risk at the high of this down candle. So with the prices here, see that's here. Let me pause this real quick and get everything organized. All right, so like I was saying, if we have this fair value gap remain intact, I could take a short entry at the low of this fair value gap with my risk at this high here. The amount I'll be risking is about 40 points, which is better than that 56. So I'm going to go ahead and try for it. Although I'm still a little wary because, it is kind of choppy. I think I'm just going to go ahead and try it for one contract today, see how it goes. I'm not even sure if I have enough risk for 2 contracts before going up that 1% risk. But yeah, because of all this choppiness, I don't want to be risking too much. I'm just going to go ahead and try for 1 contract, and let's see if we get, if this fair value gap remains intact. If it doesn't remain intact, there's no fair value gap, then no trade. All right, so looking at the next few candles, we did go and closing that fair value gap, so no trade, nothing's going on. I'm just going to move this up here just to get it ready. If we do create a fair value gap, now it could run without me. I mean, it is very choppy. I'm fine with not trading today. Today, probably not a good day to trade. I think now that we've taken out this low again, we've got 1, 2, 3, maybe it's a 3 drives pattern on the downside, and it's going to run up for these relative equal highs. So maybe I'll wait to see if that happens, and then I'll look for something. But right now, I'm kind of not really feeling it. So just going to give this some more time today. All right, and as you can see, we did start going back up. We took out this high. Can we go for these relative equal highs? Potentially. We're in this fair value gap right now. So if you were to go long, you will have your stop down here. But like I said, I'm not interested in going long. I want to go short. I'm just waiting for a setup. We do have a fair value gap here. So I could potentially try and take this one if it was a really, really small risk. But I think more than likely, I will want to wait for a confirmation fair value gap, because even though we did barely sweep over this high, we do have relative equal highs. We're trading into this fair value gap, so it could just jump up for these relative equal highs. So I think the risk is not really worth it, even though it's only what? It's still about 40 points of risk, a little bit under, but I don't think I really want that. I want to wait for a confirmation fair value gap because, like I said, we could easily just go for the buy side. So it's just going to give this a little bit more time. All right, so with this big displacement, this is looking pretty good. It looks like we could be heading for the sell side, but you see the time, it's like almost 12 o'clock, almost to my closing window of my trading window. So I guess I'll just go ahead and just look at what the rest of this morning and the rest of the day looks like. I'm not really going to be entering trade. I think even if I wanted to, it's not really going to give it to me. Like, I mean, I could try to enter here, but I'm risking a lot of retracement here. Like 1, 2, 3 fair value gap. Probably have to have my stop all the way up here. That's just not something I'm willing to do. If we take it out right here during lunch, then that's pretty much it. But if there's a retracement, there will be an opportunity in the PM session to take a short, aiming for those equal lows. So I'm going to go ahead and jump straight to the end of the day, and let's see what happens. You can see those relative equal lows never got taken. They actually set in another relative equal low. During the lunch hour, it just rallied for a new high above these relative equal highs that I was talking about earlier, and then just consolidating in the middle of that daily fair value gap. So nothing really too much to say now. We are going up. We could be looking for this high. I kind of don't want that. I want to see this hold as resistance. We'll just go into the next day, see what we get in the early mornings. September 11th, Wednesday morning. Not a whole lot on the 1 hour, consolidating currently in the lower half of this daily fair value gap, which is very, very nice. We do have a high here. This could get taken. I don't really want it to. I want this to remain stable, and I want to see a drop actually below this swing low here. This will be a short-term swing low. I know I have a lot of targets here, but keep track of the ones that I find significant right now is this one and these relative equal lows. That's going to be the significant target here. We could sweep this. Don't really want it to, but just going to go down into the lower time frame and see if we get a setup. We already took out these highs from yesterday, so that could be enough. Just going to wait till 8:30, maybe 9:30, see if we start getting displacement to the downside. If we take out this low, it's fine. That'll give me a market structure shift, and we can aim for this low. All right, some big news at 8:30. We didn't take out this high, unfortunately. I mean, I guess it would have been better if we did take it out instead of creating relative equal highs. But these relative equal highs could be set for another time. We may be coming down for this low and these relative equal lows. I'm going to get rid of these for right now. Those are targets, but I kind of feel like they're a little far away. These would be the most reasonable target for today. And going down to a 15-minute, do we have any nearby PD arrays? We did come down below this low, so we could take out these relative equal highs. That would actually be all right for me. Like For example, we already swept the lows here. If we don't take out this low, maybe we create these relative equal lows and then have price come sweep this high, and then we start going for this low. Like that's kind of the shape I want to see. But we'll see what happens, and maybe I'll wait for 930. Of course, I want to see some retracement. There's no way I'll be taking a fair value gap here because the risk is just way too high. All right, so a little bit after 9 o'clock. This is actually not bad for a short. We took out those relative equal highs here pre-market before 930. So 930, if we get a small setup, we could try for it. It may be a big drop down for these lows. Let's go ahead and just walk through it a little bit longer and see what happens before 930. And taking a look here, we are tapping the high of that fair value gap. Now, I don't have a setup before 930, so hopefully 930 will get some displacement to the downside, and that can give us a setup for a run below these relative equal lows. So we do have this. Now, kind of don't like how we swept the lows here and then we displaced up, and we're in this fair value gap. It's a little iffy. You can try to take a chance on this. Let's take a look at the risk. If I have it, let's say above the order block here, and I enter here, I'm going to get rid of this. We know it took the buy side already. The risk here is about 60 points. So a little wide, plus not sure, you know, we're in a breaker, so it could be going up. Just going to give it a little bit more time. I want to see a confirmation fair value gap. I want to see this one used and then displaced lower. Take the second one, and of course, below this low, we already know that we have relative equal lows. 1, 2, 3, a triple bottom that we could be aiming for should we start getting displacement lower. All right, so a little choppy, but we do have a shift here. We have a bearish breaker, and we have this fair value gap here. So it's a little unfortunate that we've already taken out the nearby sell side, but like I said, I think the relevant target is going to be these relative equal lows. That's what I'm going to be aiming for. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can try and take a short here. Now, we do have this fair value gap. If I have my entry here at 700, I could have my stop here at 800, which is 100 points of risk, way too much. Instead, if I have it here, thinking like I don't want this fair value gap to get filled in, looking at it as a breakaway gap, I will have about 62 points of risk, which still is quite a lot, but I think it's doable for me. If not, I will be looking to take it somewhere between this low and 50% of it. So 1 second, let me take a look at the spreadsheet. All right, so looking at the spreadsheet, if I have my entry at 700 and my risk at 762.5, that gets me a 0.92% risk under that 1%. So we'll go ahead and shoot for it. Just going to have to take one contract, and I'm looking for those relative equal lows. I will aggressively be moving my stop though. So hopefully it'll work out and not stop me out. This is going to be about 1.5 to 1, which is okay. And let's go ahead and see if this plays out. All right, so it does go down for those relative equal lows. The sell side target has been hit. Never really gave me a entry. So that's pretty much it. Now, maybe on the 1 minute time frame, there was some kind of entry you can try for here. But of course, the risk, you still want to like base your risk off the 5 minute. Either way, whatever, it's kind of done. I am done for today. We could be going lower, but already most of the move has happened. Could I have done something different? Could I have entered, say, somewhere here, thinking like, hey, we're going to create a breaker. I can try to take an entry somewhere here as it was consolidating, have my risk up here. Sure, that is potential, but there is a risk that we go up for this fair value gap here. Although now I'm looking at it, it is a balanced price range and above the breakers, so maybe not. Either way, whatever, missed the setup on this model, and let's go ahead and jump into the end of the day, and then we'll take a look at the next day. All right, so taking a look at the end of the day, and I jumped straight to the end of the day because I really didn't have anything else to look for. Unfortunately, after taking out those relative equal lows, like I told you, is the reasonable target to the downside, okay, these relative equal lows here, it just rallied straight up above the daily fair value gap, above all these highs. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit more. It went above all of these highs back into there. Do we have a fair value gap on the 4-hour? Yes, we do. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this out. All right, so here is the 4-hour fair value gap. Now I'm going to keep my eye on this going into tomorrow. If we trade above it, then I think we may be heading for higher targets. Perhaps we're going to go above this high and go back into this weekly fair value gap. But if this whole price down, then of course we can look for a setup to get in, aim for this low, 50% of that weekly wick, and of course relative equal lows. But yeah, we'll have to just see what happens in the morning tomorrow. All right, so far this is September 12th, Thursday morning, and we're just consolidating in that 4-hour fair value gap. Nothing really to see here on the 1 hour. So let's go ahead and zoom down to the 15-minute, and looking at the price action here again, not too much to see, honestly. Just gonna go ahead and mark in the buy side liquidity and the sell side liquidity. I'm gonna just say down there. Go into the 5-minute. Is there anything I can see on the 5 minutes? Not particularly. Maybe here. Very, very tight range. So I say tight is relatively tight, but from this low right here at 260 to 340 is 80 points of range, or yeah, 80 points of range. So yeah, just gonna have to see what goes on. Now these relative highs, I want to see a sweep of them and then a reversal to the downside, but who knows if that's going to happen. If we do start trading above this 4-hour fair value gap, then we'll be looking for those highs. If we start going below this fair value gap, shorts are back in play. So kind of in a place where you kind of want to have a neutral bias. So I'm not really leaning too much in one way or the other. All right, so 8:30, we got pretty big displacement to the downside. Now I want these relative equal lows to remain intact. Again, I still want to see a sweep of this the buy side here, but with this big displacement, maybe not. Maybe I just want to see it retrace back into the gap here and then find a setup lower, and afterwards it'll be okay to take out these lows, and then I can aim for the lows down here. And of course I want to see price get out of this civvy and start going lower. All right, so before 9:30 we took out the sell side down here, and then we just consolidated here at the lows. We did go into this fair value gap. Now it's a matter of, are we going to see more downward movement? If we do that, then I think we could be in for a very, very heavy move to the downside. But I think more than likely with all the buy side here, we didn't really take it. You can see that we have a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high. So a lot of buy side built in here. 9:30, I want to see it move up, take out all the buy side. I want that to be the manipulation move. Then I want to start seeing reversal, going for the downside, going for this low, and eventually getting out of this civvy. So remember, it's a 4-hour civvy. Let's go ahead and see if that plays out. All right, so at the 9:30 open, we did come and sweep this sell side. Are we going to head lower, or is this clearing it out so we can start heading for the buy side? I think that's what it's going to be like. Let's just walk through it. Now, man, if you look at this, a lot of up and down movement already. So this opening range is telling me that we're very, very choppy. I'm not very interested in trading today. As long as we are choppy like this, there's really no reason to get in. Your stop loss has to be super wide, otherwise you're going to get stopped out and it's just going to chop around. Now we are displacing up higher. Looks like we are going to go for these relative equal highs. Is there a chance to get in here? Not really, because your entry should be around here. Your risk should be down here, and as you can see, it is less than 1-to-1, so not really worth it unless this fair value gap comes down lower, or maybe you're in a lower time frame and it sets up better. So just gonna wait for this. Maybe it'll come down here and give me a better setup, but kind of feel like it's just gonna go for the buy side right away. All right, and then the next few minutes we did go for the buy side. Now that the buy side has been taken, now I want to start seeing displacement to the downside. I want to see us trade, and I'm keeping my eye on this fair value gap. Kind of want to see it trade through it. Don't want to see this hold up as support in any way or the other. Don't really want to see it even like give us a speed bump, like bounce up. Well, it could, but pretty much want to see price go through it, and then I want to see a fair value gap looking for price to go even lower. All right, so after taking out the buy side, we did have a pretty big drop down, but it went back into this fair value gap, whipped up, and consolidated here a little bit before coming up for the buy side one more time, taking out this swing high. Now it's kind of coming down. You can see this up move and this down move kind of matching it. So I'm kind of looking at this like a balanced price range. Should we create a fair value gap here? Perhaps I want to take that, although within the balanced price range, it may not get to it. It's kind of getting close to my time window. If I look at the 1 hour, what would be my sell side target? I'm not really looking for much here. We already took out these down here. Perhaps my target should be this low. It's also at the low of that 4 hour fair value gap. So a little iffy, kind of a very tight range. I'm okay if I don't trade at all. It is kind of getting close to 12 o'clock as well. Let's just go ahead and just walk through a little bit longer and see what kind of price action we get. All right, so another choppy day. You can see we're very choppy. We ran up quickly for the buy side, chopped around again, took out the buy side, came back down and chopped for the rest of the morning. So not a lot of opportunities to get in with this model. And I'm okay with that. You know, when you see choppiness on this kind of day, you may be better off just closing the chart and stepping away. But let's take a look at the end of the day. Maybe we get some action in the PM session. Not like I'm trading the PM session, but just to see what happened. We did rally back up above this 4 hour fair value gap. And this could be used as inversion. So I'm keeping that in mind as I go into the next day, which will be Friday. So if you look at the spreadsheet, last time I actually placed a trade like this one, is kind of preparing a trade, but it never really happened. So the last trade I actually took was August 29th. So this is coming up to like 2 full weeks of no trading. Perfectly fine. You know, just trying to stay patient. There's no reason to get into this choppiness. So note this for yourself and note to yourself, your future self, Ryan. Don't be trading when it's very, very choppy like this. You want to demand good, pristine setups. All right, so Friday, September 13th, last day of the week. I'm okay not trading this week. If you look at the whole week, here's Monday, pretty much just consolidation until Wednesday. Big rally up, more consolidation, big rally up on Friday. Now, what I could look for is I could look for a retracement to about 50%. If I go ahead and take the OTE Fibonacci from this week's low to the current high of the week. Well, let me do it the opposite around. So let's say going from this high to this low. Here we got 70%, so this is about 30%. And if we look at this, is going to be 20%. So we could see a retracement somewhere around here, maybe create relative equal lows. It could be a little bit higher, maybe like somewhere down here, because we could poke up above these relative equal highs. Anyways, I'm just saying I could be looking for a retracement on Friday. But let's go ahead and zoom in, draw my liquidity lines. We're going to be looking at the buy side here. And the sell side, I'm guessing here, gonna zoom into the 15-minute to get a bit clearer view of what's going on. And that looks pretty good, but I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this a little bit to these relative equal lows because they're a lot closer. Gonna be a little bit more conservative. And let's go ahead and walk through today. I am suspecting not gonna be trading today. It just hasn't been looking good for the past couple of weeks. So until it starts looking good, not really going to be looking for any trade. So here we get a sweep up the sell side, and looks like we're going to go for the buy side target. Let me just adjust this. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing well with your back testing. You know, I know you're watching me, but hopefully I just giving you some tips and you're doing back testing on your own. Because remember, back testing is like training. You know, the more you do it, the better you do it, the better your trading is going to get. It's basically like going to the gym, lifting weights, and then you feel tired, you can't lift as much the rest of the day, but you do it over and over and over, and after a few months you'll be lifting like maybe 20% more than you normally would. Anyways, looking at 9:30 here, we are rallying up. I think we're going to go ahead and hit the buy side, and we did. Now the buy side, the sell side has been taken, the buy side has been taken. So not exactly sure what is going to go on this day. You can see this 1 hour candle here basically took out the buy side and sell side on the same hour. There's no real inefficiency lower. On the higher time frame, do we have something to the upside? I suppose we do have these relative equal highs here. So this could be a good target actually, if we are going to go ahead and go bullish, because you can see that we did come down here, but we displaced up through this 4-hour fair value gap. And I said before, if we're going through this fair value gap to the upside, we could use it as inversion to push price higher for higher targets. And now I'm seeing that we do have relative equal highs. We're consolidating at the high of the fair value gap. So if anything today, I want to be bullish. I want to aim for those relative equal highs, but I'm going to have to see a lot clearer price action than this. It has been very choppy pre-market. Even this run up, I'm not seeing a lot of clean price action because we have a bunch of wicks here. Now, if we start displacing up higher with another fair value gap, then yeah, maybe I can try for that. We'll see. I kind of want to see confirmation. Yeah, so far, a lot of wicks, a lot of choppiness. I really just don't think today is a good trading day, but keeping in mind the higher time frame, right? We want to kind of switch to a bullish bias now, and I want to be looking for bullishness going into the next few days. Also, one more thing of note, 2024 is also an election year, so things could get a little bit weird because we are kind of in fall season now, which is prime election time. There's a lot of uncertainty, so that's probably why we've been getting a lot of this choppy action for the past few weeks. So definitely want to just kind of be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more hands off. But let's go ahead and see what the rest of this morning has to offer. And as you can see, guys, a lot of choppiness, big wicks to the downside. Then we grind it up for a new day's high. Big wick to the downside, relative equal lows. Then the next couple of candles completely erase that big move. So you can see like this is not a good day to trade. Yes, there's a lot of volatility, but there's really no direction. You kind of need both. You need volatility and direction in order to get good trades. With volatility alone, but sideways action, you're just going to get chopped up. You may enter, then it gets stops you out, goes your way. You enter the other direction, stops you out, goes your way. And soon enough, you keep doing that over and over and over, you're going to get chopped up and break your rules and take a bunch of paper cuts that's going to add up for the end of the day. So right now, just kind of looking at the price action, just remaining chill. We can potentially create a fair value gap to the upside. Perhaps I'll take that confirmation fair value gap. I am bullish bias anyways. So if we do have a fair value gap to the upside, I may take a chance on it. I'm only concerned that we're getting close to that 12-15 window where I want to end my trading. And it kind of looks like we're just consolidating here. We may be setting up for something in the PM session, but I think for me, I'm going to be done with the day. Again, another week, no trading. Like I said, it is an election year. We're getting not good price action. So when that's happening, all you can do is just sit on your hands. But thank you guys for joining me again for another backtesting session. We are working through, let's take a look real quick at the end of the day before I close this out, just to see what went. So yeah, we had a rally up here at 1 o'clock, but pretty much just consolidation. This, like I said, one of the things you can notice is at the opening range from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. If price action looks very choppy, it's probably not a good day to trade. You know, we may be getting a lot of choppy action throughout the entire day and price really not go anywhere, right? So remember, you want volatility and direction. So remember that. And until next time, guys, safe trading.